Vishal Saab, actually, when I told him the story, you know, his first reaction was, "Arey, bahut log mar gaye," he said.
There was this image of what you require to be in Hindi films.
Right.
This had nothing to do with it.
It's 25 years. I go out, people call me with a lot of names, but essentially they always call me with the name Kallu Mama.
What Satya and Ramu have done single-handedly, they changed the course of the filmmaking.
It's such a privilege and such a pleasure for me to have all of you here to celebrate one of my favorite films, 25 years of Satya.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I am so excited, and I have to tell you, I reached out to so many of the other key collaborators, JD and Urmila and Vishal and of course Anurag, and everybody was traveling, but I think in spirit, they're here to celebrate with us. Ramu, of course, I have to begin with you. This is a film that you've always said started with a thought ki we know about gangsters when they die or when they're killed. That's when we hear about them. Lekin, what are they doing in between?
There was this guy called Ajit Diwani. I met him because...
Mandakini's secretary.
Yes.
Because just for people who will not have context for this.
Yeah, correct. But that is the whole point. Why he knows them is because when Dawood Ibrahim was seeing her, he used to arrange for a traveler's checks and things like that. So he used to go to a place in Baikala. And these guys used to get up when he comes because Babi ka aadmi hai. That was what his...
Wow.
So he told me about a certain guy because of that he knew all these people. That is when D Company was still not split between Rajan and Dawood, you know. So he told me about a guy when he was killed by the police. So when he went to see him, his brother, the dead guy's brother was... he was just giving gullies. And I told him not to go and this guy didn't listen and this and that, you know. I thought it was a very strange thing, a guy abusing a dead body for dying. That for me was the soul of Biku Mhatre, what Ajit Diwani told.
Which you then reproduced in the Chandar scene.
Yeah, so when Saurabh is at church and this guy, I got this. So, because a gangster is a rebel by nature, and he probably won't be he won't be schooled properly. So which is the reason it reflects in the way Manoj worked out his character, in the way he laughs. There is something wild about it. There is no domestication in the context. You can see that in his eyes. I mean, that is of course because of his terrific performance, you know. So that kind of a man can't take it that someone took away his power to protect Chandar. He's angry about that. So the grief coming out as anger is what I try to study from what Ajit Diwani narrated.
And all of this led to the film.
Yes.
But let me first set some context here, right? 1998 is the year of Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. Okay, in Uday Bhatia's amazing book on Satya, Bullets Over Bombay, he points out that there were 3 films that year with Pyar in the title. Pyar to hona hi tha, Jab Pyar Kisi Se Hota Hai, One More Pyar, then there was Prem Agan. So the general mahal in the film industry was that people were shooting in Switzerland, people were wearing lovely clothes.
Romancing.
DDLJ had just become 2 years, 3 years before the blockbuster of the century. And here are all of you shooting in these half-constructed buildings, in these dingy bars, trying to capture the reality of gangsters. Did you guys, when he wasn't around, ever just say to yourselves, yaar, hum kar kya rahe hain? वो कभी हुआ?
So okay, we all came from theatre. I mean,
Right.
I was in theatre, Manoj was in theatre, and there was a clash of
Sensibility.
Bollywood
Yeah.
of that time, and we used to watch world cinema and whatever. Then Manoj separately, I mean, Manoj was earlier there. I was called, I think I was the last one to come into Satya. The thing was, here is this man who's already established, who doesn't care what the industry will say and how a Bollywood film or a Hindi film should be made. That was very exciting. That was exciting because it was more than कि हम कर क्या रहे हैं. It was more like we've got a chance.
Yeah, we got a chance.
We got a
job.
chance. We can do it.
Yeah. We got a job which we always wanted to have. And we are working with somebody who himself is not only established but also a rebel like us. You know, so somewhere with Ramu, we found ourselves, you know. Everything that we thought about performance or filmmaking, you know, here was a man who was actually leading the pack, but also doing exactly how he wanted, you know, things to happen in your career.
So it's very simple. I mean, I can vouch it for myself that I was a nobody. I mean, yes, of course, I was doing some work, but I was not known, and I had no power to even command that this is exactly what I want to do. And I don't think even Manoj was in that position at that time, or any one of us. We needed, like our first film, Bandit Queen. So it was Shekhar. So he was leading, and we were like, okay, if the boss doesn't have a problem, we don't have a problem, you know. So here it was Ramu. So we used to say, as a matter of fact, there was no song in the film.
That's right.
Yeah.
Initially, there was no song.
Yeah.
And we are the culprit. Because we went to Ramu and Manoj and me and everybody, we used to discuss कि यार कैसी picture बना रहे हैं यार, गाना नहीं होगा यार, कैसे चलेगा यार. You know, we want to be in
And
the
I was
mainstream.
coming freshly from Rangila. On top of that, which is full of songs.
So
You guys convinced him to
yeah,
put
I
in
mean,
songs.
we always knew that everybody warned us that Ramu is very, very adamant and, you know, he will not
See,
change.
at the time, just to add on to it, you see, because at that time, the trailer, I mean, only the music companies
Correct.
used
That
to
was
do
your
it.
selling
Correct.
point.
So you
Yeah.
don't know how to promote. I
Yeah.
mean,
Correct.
if there are no songs, how do we take it across?
Yeah.
A film like Satya is coming.
Yeah.
It's impossible. You know.
Shefali, I have to ask you, did you have a sense of this rebellion, or you were there purely as an actor?
I didn't have a sense of rebellion. I didn't have a sense of who or what I wanted to do in the industry. But one thing was clear, that I was not fitting into what image the industry had. So that was completely out of reach for me. When, I did Rangila, a small part where I play an actor, and I realized I don't know how to do this. I'm incapable. But when Satya came to me, it just seemed, I felt at home.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't a struggle or a thought or a
See, one
idea
amazing thing about Shefali in Satya is this is the hardly 3.5 scenes of Shefali.
Yeah.
And one of the key scenes where she's having a fight with Manoj when he comes late, you can't see her face also. It's almost like it's like a two shot. I mean, I very rarely I don't always have close-ups. In that particular thing, the performance was so electrifying, I didn't want to have close-ups. You know?
Right.
But she's kind of faced because slightly 3/4 angle. In spite of that, people were zapped and everyone came out and talked about her.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, even on the
It's amazing. I mean,
on the shoot,
see, I
people
think-
clapped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the point is when you're so sincere and emotionally so naked, it is found. Even if it's a back shot, it's going to work.
No,
How
so-
can a 2 hour 45-minute film, our
Yeah.
screen time, I doubt it will be 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That also I doubt. But it made an impact.
No, that scene I want to talk in detail about. It's one of my favorites. But coming back to just the sort of opening few. So now he's the rebel director. You guys are the rebel actors, right? Manoj, you're the first actor signed on, right? But you are not there to play Bhiku. You're there to play Satya.
So I'll tell you this story. So I went to Ramu because Kanan Iyer was associated with Ramu.
And also with Bandit Queen.
He was with Bandit Queen, so we knew him. I mean, we were very, very good friends, and his was the place.
Mane,
that
honestly, this is something I will tell you. I will tell best. Huh? Let me tell about this. You know, because my perspective would be different, and he will give it away.
No, but first let's hear his
No.
we,
I insist.
okay.
You insist.
See, I'll tell you. I saw Bandit Queen, and that is the first time I saw Manoj.
Yeah.
In that shot when he's holding Phulan Devi, you know, when she's screaming and she can't control her anger and he's just holding her. I loved this one thing. He just was holding her, absolutely not acting. It's almost like he knows what she has gone through and everything, and there was not one extra expression. He was still as a statue, as if I can see in the eyes almost the flashback of the relationship or whatever it is. That was, I was just amazed. And then when I came out and I spoke to Kanan, at the time I was just about to start Daud. So I spoke to him a lot. So then he said, Daud, some Parishravals, 5 gang members. He came and I frankly told Manoj, this is too small a
Yeah,
role
he said
for a
this.
caliber of your talent. But he said, Ramesh, anything is okay. I want to. In fact, I cast him not because I needed for that role. I cast him only because I was mesmerized with him, like I said, in Bandit Queen. So in the course of making Daud, that is when I decided I want to make a film where he will play the key role. But the key role at that point of time, there was not really like a protagonist in my mind, just because it's called Satya and the protagonist's name. Of course, otherwise it belongs to every character. Right. It's not like any one particular character is playing the hero and someone is the villain, including Bau Thakurdas, all these people. Now, Satya is a name I put. Actually, it belongs to a girl I was in love with in college, so I wanted to impress her. So there was no
so
other
you mean
reason.
the gangster Satya because you were looking at
Yeah, I wanted her to be impressed.
That is sound strategy. That must have worked, Ramu.
Ex-girlfriend, perfect revenge.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Achha.
So
Revenge
once,
post.
yes, that's the only reason. And to justify that, I called Chakri also Satya. That wasn't the reason. Now the next what happened is when I was thinking of the characters, so I was not into the script, I was into characters. More I thought of Biku Mhatre, I know this guy. This is the main fulcrum of the entire film, And I know Satya is just mouthing one-liners, it doesn't need. But this is a very complex role.
So he told me, sorry to interrupt, but he told me, he called me over and he said, because every day I used to park myself at his place. So he told me one day, with all seriousness, that look, for Satya, I need somebody who has a presence, and then my casting is done, because he just has to mouth a few dialogues with certain intensity. I need a face for that. But for this character, I need you, because this is somewhere, developing into a very volatile character. And for this, I need an actor. So you will be doing this. So all of this while, because I was with him when he was planning to make this film, so in my mind, I was playing the main guy.
You were Satya.
So those days, the main guys, playing a main guy is like
It's a big deal.
Big deal.
Yeah. Especially after he finished his course and came and struggling in in Bombay, obviously. Yeah.
So then he tells you, no, you're not Satya, now you're Bhiku.
So for me, in my mind, it was a step down.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I went down, I smoked, and I was feeling a little bad. Obviously, because I didn't know anything about Biku Mhatre, that he was giving it to me. But when I started getting to know Biku Mhatre, I started getting excited about the dimension of Biku Mhatre, what all I could do with it. So with every narration that he used to, or the ideas that he used to come up with, every day used to be, thank you, Ramu. I think I got the role.
This is the most incredible thing about films. I do not believe that without someone like Manoj, because it's not like I had an incredibly clear character in my mind, barring Ajit Diwani talking something. Right from the beginning, I still remember I had an office in Juhu at that time, and Manoj first, picked up some clothes, and he came. I could see Biku Mhatre he showed me. I wouldn't say I saw. Oh, this is what I wanted, is what I thought. When I met Manoj, in the way he's standing, in the way his body language, when came into the office to show me the clothes, how the look is going to be. I think from that moment onwards, he just got gussed into the character.
But it was those days. Now things are so organized. The costume designers and this and that, Those days, Ramu asked me to just go to his production person and take some money for the
You went and bought
for the
yourself.
shirts
Yeah.
and the costume. Okay, whatever you think, just go and buy shirts and your costume, whatever you think is right. So I went to Hill Road, Bandra. I found this very small place, and fabric, I wanted something very flamboyant fabric, which is flying. I bought around 20 shirts, flowery. So in my mind, actors keep doing things uh, which according to their how they are looking at the character. So I wanted those kind of colorfulness in Biku Mhatre and the flamboyance, because also in the film is starting just when him and Guru Narayan have parted ways, and they have drifted apart from Bhau. Okay, so they were together, but now they are enemies. So he has his own gang, so he's on a high. Okay, so I wanted to show that, in my mind, I was just playing with it, so I wanted to show that in my clothes. But 20,000 rupees, my costume was done.
I think 20,000
Not
is
even
too
the
high. I
makeup
doubt
budget
it would have
today.
been
I think
20,000.
20,000.
Yeah,
Rahul.
Must be lesser.
The denim and all of that.
B's
Not
also
only shirt.
sounding too much.
Yeah, that,
I doubt it will be more than 2,000.
No, not even
No. Unless
No, I
my
agree
production
with
person looted the guy. Money.
You think Saurabh is also saying 2,000? You think 2,000?
Yeah, because my costume came from Tamil Nadu. I had a lungi, that Brahmin lungi, that what do they call Tambram
Yes.
lungi, which came from Tamil Nadu. It was the most expensive costume,
And?
3,500.
Yeah.
Total
No.
costume.
And your
Shefali,
sari,
your clothes must have
Shefali
cost
sari.
more, yeah?
No, so I remember
No.
them getting me saris, and I said, give me used saris. I don't want new saris, just get me used
So
saris.
no money.
So I don't know, she managed to get me used saris, and then like the Jurassic Park scene,
Yeah.
that's my sari, because at that point of time, it's a highlight of her probably the whole year.
Right, she's
Right,
going
right.
out for
She's
dinner.
going out.
Going out.
It's a date.
I don't know the individual costs of them, but for sure, all put together 10 times must have been Urmila.
That's right.
Yeah.
She was with
Because-
Manish Malhotra.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
That's the reason.
Of course. So you wore your own sari in the dinner scene.
The dinner sequence. Then for the song, I wore my own jewelry, like my.
For
I had
Sapne
the
Mein Milti Hai.
the nuts and all of that. But
That's your jewelry.
yeah, because my grandmother was a Maharashtrian, so I had that advantage. That was a very big advantage. Not just for the jewelry, but even for the
character,
character,
yeah.
for the language, the way she talks.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I remember telling her distinctly, don't get me new saris, get me old saris.
But you always said that there was no script, right? Proper koi script aisi nahi thi. You guys were improvising. Saurabh, I read in Uday's book that for 15 days, you and Anurag Kashyap were in some farmhouse, Ramu's
In
farmhouse.
Hyderabad. Near Hyderabad.
And you had beer and food, and in 15 days, you came up with some first draft. What happened here?
Okay, so it's not that bad. Huh? I mean, the way it sounds, it's not that bad. We had written a script, okay? But the script, the thing is that when the film was being made, the script was written. There were basic scenes.
The skeleton was there.
Skeleton was there. So it's like the framework. You have the framework, and both the writers, Anurag and me, we were constantly there in the whole shoot.
Of course.
And we always had meetings with Ramu at his place. And it was great because we were having meetings about the script and we were getting free booze every evening. So that was great.
That's the secret sauce of making great cinema.
So the point is, I always say, when people say that how many writers are there in the film, so I say if I'm an insider, I would say 4 writers: Anurag, me, Ramu, and then actors.
Yes,
Because they
that's very
improvise
well put.
a lot.
That's very well put, yeah.
Yeah. So we were always there to say कि नहीं मनोज ये पजामे के बाहर है यार ये मत कर ये मत कर लेकिन बाकी जो तू कर रहा है वो अच्छा है. So that's another way of making films.
See, to start with, when people say that filmmaking is a team effort, which absolutely it is, and I always believe that if it's a failure, it's completely the director's fault. And if it's successful, I think everyone who contributed will be the share. Because I as a director am only making the final decision. But that doesn't mean I created it. I just endorsed someone else's thing, So in the context of that, for me as a journey, because I was a very structured and I had a definitive style from Shiva to whatever films I made. For the first time in Satya, I broke that. Why did I do that? Is because it happened quite by accident. When there's a scene when Satya first comes to the place, and at a, what is it, bullocks, the buffalo thing,
Tabela.
Tabela, yeah. In that scene, in my mind, when he slashes him with the razor,
Sushant.
that was a cut point for me. In my mind, that was where I was going to cut. Now this Sushant, this actor, is from theatre. Now I thought once it is in my mind, I was thinking something else, and I forgot to say cut. Because I forgot to say cut, he screamed. He just improvised. Because what did anyone do after because I never told him that the cut point is there. So he screamed in pain, and suddenly Manoj Bajpayee, because he screamed, he didn't know what to do, and I got startled, and I forgot to say cut.
Right.
And then Manoj Bajpayee said, "Arey, pani lo, no." And then suddenly the scene took off, which was not there in the script or in the scene or anything. Then I realized this should be about what happens before the scene and after the scene, not about the scene.
Right.
So I changed my entire style of making post
Right.
that one experience that day.
But one of the other great lines is in the interrogation scene, the improvised line is when you shoot the guy and you turn
he
and
said,
say,
"Bolne ka na."
"Bolne ka na pehle."
That is quite amazing. I mean, in that scene, the scene was there that Kalu Mama is having dosa and they're talking about Satya's girl and everything, and there is a guy hanging. The scene is there, the meat is there, but the magical moment actually happened. He says, "So kya karne ka iska? Jab jayega to bol dega bahar." And Kalu Mama takes out the gun and shoots. And Manoj was standing right next to me, and gun actually has a sound. It's a blank, but it has the full sound. Dad! And he says, "Abhe, bolne ka na chalane se pehle." So that became like magical moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to also talk about a couple of my favorite scenes, starting with, of course, that scene that the two of you did, right? It's incredible because Biku has just come back from prison. You two, Pyari and him, have a fight. Satya's just standing at the door, not knowing what to do. And then you slap Pyari. Okay, and you flinch when he does that.
Right.
But then the door shuts and she slaps him back. That's incredible. I was just like, look at this. 25 years ago, here's a female character asserting and saying, you know what, you don't get away with this shit, yeah.
What I remember that as soon as I, shut the door and I turned back and she slapped me, okay? Now, after that, it was the most beautiful thing about that sequence, that when she slaps me, it turns into a romantic moment.
Yeah.
That was the most beautiful improvisation that Shefali has done there.
Wait, so was it written that you would slap him?
I think Ramu sir had told me that they hit him back. Also, while we were discussing, like he said correctly, that, I remember I was sitting with the script and he said, just you say it your way. He has come back.
Right.
That is it. What I thought was that she's obviously, everyone is scared of this man. Right. She has no fear of this man. She absolutely has no fear. It's also like you slapped me in front of somebody else.
That's right, which is what makes it so much more humiliating.
And like what Ramu sir started the whole thing, that sequence, what you were narrating, where that guy was abusing the dead body. It is that she is angry. She's not sad.
Right.
She's angry because she's like, I don't know if you're not going to come back home. You don't mess around with me.
And she really loves him.
Yeah, and you don't mess around with me. So don't expect me to garland you because you've come back safe. That was the thing. And like I said, I had an advantage of Marathi.
Right.
So it was just, in fact, less of Hindi and more of Marathi. It was a thought. It wasn't about what I said or what he said at that point of time. And I think I remember where I slap him and he laughed. Which is almost like, chalna yaar. Like, it's like, is that?
Such a sweetness
It was
in it.
such a beautiful moment.
Yes,
And
yes.
like he correctly said, that is the romance between this man and woman.
Yeah.
That is, so, if you go to think, even if they make love, it's probably going to be extremely raw, aggressive, and passionate.
Yeah.
Right.
Not just subtle and sweet and necking and kissing, that kind of thing. And that moment is also sexual in its own way.
Absolutely.
You can imagine where it would go.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just so many things together.
The other absolutely incredible moment is, of course, Goli Maar Bheje Mein, right? I remember so clearly, I was already a journalist in 98, right? I was watching this film and I felt like I could almost smell the alcohol and the sweat of these men. And yet I wanted to be part of that dance. I wanted to get up there and go, Bheja Shor karta hai. Was there a choreographer? I've heard many stories ki tha, nahi tha. Tha koi set pe?
See, that is done in 6 shots, I think.
6 shots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
5
No
to 6
way.
Yeah,
shots.
6
Yeah,
shots.
5 to 6 shots.
That whole song?
No
Yeah.
change in lighting, just we had to put a top light and just kept on improvising.
And after that, it was rap. So all of us were
So
drinking
9
beer.
to 5. Actually.
Method acting kar rahe the.
No, I see. Rap. Celebration was happening.
I remember,
Wait, this was the film ka rap.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a film ka rap. No, it was then.
yeah, somewhere around, I don't know, I don't
think it was-
remember, but
so
one of
it
the
is
last
shot
things we shot.
twice.
Shot twice.
It
Oh,
was shot twice.
Okay, tell me.
First time it was shot when there was no song. So we just shot dancing. And we actually drank beer.
that time. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was just a joyous moment.
Then it became a moment, and then it was shot again. And I think it was maybe it was the last day or whatever. But all I remember that we didn't drink because we had to work. So, but the beer was real. So when we were going back home, we were caught by the cops. क्या बोलता है मुंह से तो निकल रहा है बदबू आ रहा है तेरा. But it was great fun. It was there was no choreographer. Ramu came and we were like ki Ramu, because we knew about Hindi film songs, and those days Hindi film songs were like 7 days, 8 days. That was the time. He said, yeah, no problem. We'll shoot it. We started around 9 or 10, or we were finished by 5.
Yeah.
6 shots he did that whole thing. And we just...
And what was your instruction? Dance.
I just wanted them to be characters, like what Kalumama will do
So-
if he's having fun.
Right.
He did his dance, Manoj did his, everybody did their own thing.
Yeah.
So why do you need a choreographer? Choreographer is supposed to be
Yeah.
there to coordinate and
And how to capture it was his thing. Okay, we'll take a track shot, so this track shot can convert this into this, and then we'll take a reverse shot which will come somewhere else. It's that way he designed the whole thing, which I think he was also improvising. So it was not only us who were improvising, he was on the side, he was improvising his
Making
own.
it up as he goes along.
yeah, of course. The entire film was there. See, very initial idea when all these songs, like Bharat Bhai Shah told me, now there's no way we can promote and project the film if there are no songs. I don't know how
Bharat
to
Shah
do
is the
it.
producer of it.
Yeah. Okay. So, no, I'm not blaming him. I was little unconvinced because I thought this was, and then there is Sandeep Chautha, Now, Sandeep Chautha was only doing the background score. And I think he was very jealous of Vishal Bharadwaj doing the music. So he constantly was trying to tell me, please don't screw up the film putting songs in it, So I said, Sandeep, this is my problem. And one night he said, Ram, just imagine in Godfather, if Michael Corleone and K. Adam start singing a song, do you think it's the same film? That is a strong argument.
It is?
It is. I was shaken up. He told me one night before actually this thing. Then I thought to myself, and then I said, fuck it, let's just try. You never know. At the most, if it is that push comes to shove, I can cut it out in the final print is what I decided to go ahead, But when we were doing it, I felt it will work very strong. It's at least Sapni Milti and Kallumam. I wasn't sure about the other songs. And then I remember Khandilkar, apna Aditya Srivastav, the guy played the cop. When he saw the song, he said, "I feel like resigning my job and joining the gang."
Exactly. Exactly. That was my response. I'm like, but why am I not part of this gang?
Yeah.
They're having too much fun. It was incredible. How did you convince Gulzar Saab to write Goli Maar Bheje Mein?
See, that was seen. Actually, for me, Vishal Bharadwaj gave one particular lyric. I found that much more better than what Gulzar Saab wrote. But yeah,
I'm lost.
and I told Vishal, Gulzar Saab is screwing it up. I don't think this is nice, But obviously, Gulzar Saab is such a senior writer. Now, who's going to tell him that, And then you remember Shekhar. Shekhar was insisting, Amul, this guy is screwing it up. Please change
Who?
it.
Shekhar Kapoor?
No.
Shekhar
Shekhar is one man.
is executive producer.
Okay, okay. Huh. So what was he insisting?
No, see, Golimar Bheje Mein as a line, or whatever it is, what Vishal came with, I'll just see if I remember the first lines. At least one line I remember is
gum ke niche bum laga ke.
Gum ke niche bum laga ke, ram uda de. This was the line he gave, which till today I believe that is better line. Even after it became a blockbuster hit. Yeah, so Gulzar Saab, actually, when I told him the story, his first reaction was, "Arey, bahut log mar gaye," he said. Because by the time we came to the end, Biku is dead, Anupama is dead, Satya, everybody is dead. That was
Only Pyari lives.
yeah. That was his only reaction.
Bahut log mar gaye.
Bahut log mar gaye. Then he said, "Gila Gila Pani," he wrote, So I don't remember, it's Anurag or someone who said, "But Pani is Gila. What is Gila Pani?"
He lost.
And then said, so to counter it, we tried to tell him, "Sir, Gila Pani already Vishal has done in that Machis, I think, somewhere. Already Gila sound has come in songs. Yeah, one more will come. What's the problem?" he said. Which is also true. Then there's one marketing guy, I remember his name is Rajesh. "You nahaya na karo samundar mein," some line like that is there in Badlo se
Kaat ke.
Namak bare samundar mein you nahaya mat karo. So this Rajesh said, "What, Urmila is in a bikini or what in this song?" he said. Because the point is, high poetry, like everyone knows, many people don't understand.
Yeah.
But in the seriousness of it, you will feel. So if Gulzar Saab doesn't know what poetry is, now who are we? Is what my final call was. So technically, many of the lyrics I didn't hear. I didn't really understand what they mean, but they sound nice. It's okay. That's what a song should be.
That's Ramu bhai.
And I'll tell you something even more funny. In that sequence when they're in the under construction building, when this guy telling a joke, Chandar, and Biku Mhatre is laughing, and suddenly the gunshots come up. Now Anurag narrated that scene to me in the makeup man. I didn't understand it. For some reason, maybe I was preoccupied or whatever, but my intention of the scene was, they're talking something unconnected to the story, and suddenly out of the blue, the gunshot comes. So this was just like it is nothing to do with the screenplay. So I said, what they will be talking is what I asked Anurag to write. So when
That
he was
joke.
That
as a
joke.
Yeah, Chandar's joke.
Yeah. He was
Ram or Shah.
Yeah, correct, Ram or Shah. And when he was narrating, I didn't hear it properly because I was preoccupied about something. But he was speaking with so much of excitement. So I think if he likes it so much, that it must be something good only, I thought. And I understood after repeatedly seeing, not even when it was going on, also I was more concerned about where the gunshot will come from, things like that.
But that's one of my most favorite scenes.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a great scene.
Great scene.
It's a lovely scene. It's just it also underlines yet again how fragile their lives are. And how quickly
And the death
it's
comes
going to ruin.
so suddenly.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I tell you one incident, I mean, it can come across as such a careless way of filmmaking. When Kalu Mama, when he's towards the end, you know, when Makaran says Mar Mama, you know, in that scene when we're actually shooting, and Makaran was not there in the scene originally. So I was thinking to myself, which all characters to finish in the film? I don't want too many loose ends in the thing. So I suddenly called Makaran. Makaran, where are you? I said, I'm at home. I'm thinking of killing your character. If you're free, you come, I said, you know. So I actually, and I'm not exaggerating. Yeah, I am not exaggerating. He came. And what happened. So just in case, if Makaran was not available for a second that day, you know, I probably wouldn't have that. I wouldn't have had that. Then one of my assistants asked me, how can you take a decision like that? But I said, that's what this point of this film will be, is because people keep suddenly dying.
Yeah.
Or they might be alive. You don't know.
No, but
And that's what happens in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was such a great sort of closing of that thread, because you feel, you understand Kallu Mama and you see where he's coming from. But guys, we must talk about Mumbai Ka King Kaun. Right? Because that is the iconic moment of this movie. But you know, when you see it, you realize that moment is what? Maybe 20, 30 seconds at best. And what's incredible is the scene it leads into, which is where Biku Mhatre is telling Satya that I'll make the arrangements. I'll make sure you get out of here. And then he says, Mujhe Vidya se jalan ho rahi.
Right.
Which is just so beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, there's such a sense of friendship and brotherhood.
They were writing, and still it was not ready while they were preparing for the cliff and where they're going to shoot, all of that, and I was scared because I have a major...
He had a vertigo
problem.
People are holding him from under the...
So, you know, they tried every trick possible, but, you know, it was not happening. So, in the end, Ravan just said, I'm taking a long shot, just somehow just stand there for some time, just say anything, we'll dub it. So, in the long shot, actually, I'm abusing Saurabh and Anurag. Please take me. Hata, mujhe leke yaar, kitni देर से कर
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And then where did that line come from?
That line, they were writing.
On set?
On set, they were, on set.
I don't
On set,
know
they were
what-
writing.
yeah.
I was standing there, sitting there. Then they were taking to Ramu to get it approved. All of that was
Just to
happening.
add to this, so he was. It's another thing is people think that Satya is a what do you call it? A sing sound film.
No, it's
It's
not.
not.
Right.
Okay.
We started as sing sound.
We started as sing sound,
Yeah.
and sing sound was very difficult, but it is dubbed very beautifully as a sing sound film. It sounds sing sound.
Yeah.
So he was saying whatever, and later it was dubbed. And when the close up comes, he was still near to that place, and I think Anurag also and we were holding his legs like this.
Yeah. नीचे बैठ के.
नीचे बैठ
पकड़े
के.
हुए.
We were out of
I was
place
saying
and
my
we were doing
dialogue.
that. So the contribution of writers is way bigger than writing the film.
Exactly.
That people don't know.
You kept the hero in check.
What they don't know, they think writers only write. No, they don't. They also hold the feet of the actors.
That's just fantastic. That is fantastic. Now, at the end of the film, you put a disclaimer saying that, you know, my sentiments and my heart is as
My
much.
tears are-
My tears are as much with the victims of
As much as Satya. Yeah.
as much as Satya. But the truth is, the film was with the bad guys, if you want to call them that. Our sympathies, our emotion was so much in all of these people, right? That truthfully, and I'm ashamed to say this, I wasn't thinking about who they were killing.
No, but that's what
Why
I'm saying.
did you feel the need to put that?
Actually, I thought about it when I was mixing. Almost the film is over. We were doing the final mix, and it suddenly hit me like a thunderbolt. I felt so emotional seeing the last reel. You know, that is when actually I realized what this film is about. To be honest, I didn't have any idea when I was shooting, A lot of people ask me this question, did you feel something special was happening? I said no. I was discovering something in the film. I didn't think it was something special. Where Manoj is concerned, I felt some very special thing is happening. Some scenes of Biku Mhatre, you know. Except for that, because I have not seen an actor with that kind of intensity ever in my career before Manoj came in Satya. So that was what I thought was special. The overall thing, I had a very loose, vague idea. It is looking real, and I'm hearing all kinds of views when whoever saw it in the edit room and all that. It hit me very strongly in the final mixing. Actually, that is when I actually got to know what we have made. You know, so I think
But it hits you. You obviously understand that you've made something special. But it releases on July 3rd. The theatres are not even half full. In Uday's book, there's a conversation, Manoj, you have with Ajit Devani, where he says कि ये picture तो पिट गई और picture ढूंढो.
So I was,
Do you remember this?
So yeah, I went to Shan Theatre, Parla. Now that theatre is not there. So Ajit Devani he was coming out of the theatre. He was there for some reason. And we used to go just take a round of the theatres when the film was running with the hope that, people will come and watch the film. There were 7 people, 8 people, 9 people, 10 people in the initial 2 days or 3 days. And I saw Ajit Devani coming out and we said hi to each other. And he said, क्या कर रहे हो तुम लोग इधर? नहीं देखने आते कैसी जा रही है? कैसी क्या जा रही है? गई, खत्म, हो गया. अभी दूसरा काम देखो तुम लोग. He said it with no emotion at all. I mean, our career was attached with this film.
yeah.
He like a trade guy, he just said, no, it's gone. It's wiped out.
See, strangely, when a lot of shows were put by Bharat Bhai, not that he had the reason to sell or anything, now, Bharat Bhai's opinion also of the film, which is very strange, the first ever trial we put in famous theatre, Now, Bharat Bhai was sitting in the front. I was in the back row, Before that, when he saw the rough cut, when Paresh Rawal gets killed, so I was sitting here, Ramu, Paresh Rawal ko maar diya. Now, his problem was, there are very few known people. And Paresh is one of them. Hardly there is Urmila, there is Paresh. That's it, actually, Paresh ko maar diya. So, now what am I supposed to say? It sounds stupid to say, Then his next problem was, there is no sound of the gun. You hear a gasp, because shot from a long distance rifle or something. Ramu, there is a gunshot, although, he said. So, Bharat Bhai is killed from a long distance. Why will the gunshot be heard inside the house? Ramu, log samjhenge nahi, he said. I said, Bharat, lekin aap samjhe na? I understood, but after some time. That is also there also. What you understand, exactly will be understood by the audience. See, if you suddenly hear a sound and you go out and somebody is bleeding, you might not know immediately what happened.
Right.
But in due course, you will know.
You get it, of course. Yeah.
Then when the final thing came, he saw the film, and the moment Biku Mhatre is killed, see, film is not yet over, at least 15 minutes or something left, The moment Biku Mhatre is shot, he turned back to me with a big smile. Mera paisa safe, he said. Which means he loved it so much.
That's a great scene.
Yeah, no,
Biku Mhatre's death
but
is a
imagine
great
Bharat
scene.
Bhai's expression. Mera paisa safe, Ramu, he said. Which means that is his way of complimenting me.
That's right.
After this, kuch bhi hua, theek hai, no problem. He said the point.
But guys, tell me the emotion of those first few days, right? This man is saying to your face, ye to pit gayi, ab kuch aur dekh.
Right. I remember Ramu once telling me to go to Dadar Theatre, was the name of the plaza.
Dadar Plaza, yeah.
He said that, Manoj, I'm getting a call from the manager. We should go there. They want you to be there and interact with the audience. And I went to the theatre after the Shan debacle. Ajit Devani, So I was quite scared going to Plaza. And I reached there, I think Anurag was also there, someone was there with me. And I was sitting in manager's room and he was talking about the performance and this and that. I said, how many people are there? अभी आपको पता चलेगा, बताएंगे. And he took me inside. The moment it was interval, and they announced that Biku Mhatre is there, there was pandemonium. They really had to, their staff had to really struggle to get me out of there. The hall was full, theatre was full, they were shouting, screaming, Biku Mhatre, Biku Mhatre. Somehow they put me in the car, somehow the car came out of the campus. That was a completely different experience from
Ajit Devgan.
Ajit Devgan said, jao.
But actually, it makes sense, no? Because if you there's an empty theatre, what is supposed to do?
Yeah. Shefali, did you go to any theatres? Do you remember this?
No, I didn't. Honestly, I don't understand even till date the business of cinema. I do not. For me,
And then you're married to a guy who makes Kerala story. Thank you very much.
he's taking care of that part, I guess.
Right.
And I think I've said this to you even earlier, Anupama. I don't, when I'm doing the project, it never, and I genuinely mean it, occurs to me कि इसका क्या होगा. I love the process so much that once I finish shooting for
You're
it,
done.
I am happy and gone home very like, I've had the best experience in my life.
Yeah.
So I don't go there. Another thing is, I was too naive and too ignorant to understand how special this was. While I was making it, while we were shooting for it, I was like, whoa, this is, I'm just loving it. Like all of us were so passionately involved. But what it's going to become, I don't have the capacity to see a film in its entirety while it's being made. And then it was, I'm playing a small bit with the song included, it's 7 minutes. I saw the film and I was like, whoa, I love it. I love these characters. But फिर मैं theatre में जाके, what do I do?
Right. I wrote this piece in India Today, and I interviewed Manoj you and Ramu you for this. And it was like about 2 months after the film. It was a big hit.
Yeah.
And I remember interviewing this gangster, on the phone. I was too chicken to actually meet with a real life gangster, and he was telling me about how much this film meant to him and how he's seen it 3-4 times और हमारी life का real दिखाया है. And he said about Manoj कि अगर ऐसा 2-4 रोल और करेगा नाना पाटेकर को बिठा दे. I still remember that line so clearly. And this is a film made in 2.5 crores is what I've read. Ramu, is that about correct?
Should
2.5 crores?
Should be around.
है ना?
Yeah.
And then it runs 30 weeks in Eros, becomes a landmark
Right.
in Indian
I
cinema.
honestly think more than the run, how much it collected, I think the impact it made, where people
Absolutely.
till today they talk about the film in awe. I think that is the real success of the film.
Right.
Absolutely. And I wanted to ask all of you to
Because
end with-
if the same year, India Today or one of these magazines put the top collections of the films of that year, the top 5, Satya was, I think, 3rd or 4th. The first was Salman Khan's Bandhan.
Really?
Yeah, I think Salman Khan also won't remember that film. That's the point I'm trying to make.
But here we are 25 years later celebrating
Right.
this film, and that is the impact. Just to end with, I want to ask all of you, what is your takeaway as artists from a film like this, which is made, like you said, improvised, done as you, and people working with passion, Shefali, like you said, but also sort of what you said about him, that he didn't care.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
More than anything else, that it was a success or it earned the money or whatever it was made in 2.5 crores or 2 crores or whatever. The point is, it's 25 years. I go out, people call me with a lot of names, with a lot of characters which I did, but essentially they always call me with the name Kallu Mama.
So also what it did,
So
you know,
25 years.
Yeah.
the takeaway.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for me, the takeaway from Satya, you know, Satya has really, it's somewhere, you know, it has made me of the firm belief that whatever we were thinking, whatever we were doing was right. Okay, we just have to stick to that and never, you know, deviate from that one. Also, what Satya and Ramu have done single-handedly, they changed the course of the filmmaking, you know, with one film, and all of us have seen it happening.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, today, if we are talking about the content, we are talking
Yeah.
about the filmmaking, the new kind
Even
of filmmaking,
performances.
the performances.
It was all there.
Yeah.
No, in terms of, there was this image of what you required to be in Hindi films.
Right.
This had nothing to do with it. And today, that is what I've taken away for
Yeah.
the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's, you know, also I think somewhere from all that I hear and from what I felt at that point of time, it was just the belief and
Yeah.
the passion.
That's all.
There wasn't a calculation. There wasn't ki ye angle acha lagega, you look so pretty, you've got to wear these clothes. This is the right way to perform or this is the right way to shoot it. It was just raw, real and
Yeah.
passion, pure passion.
It was everything but a Hindi film.
Yeah, exactly. It was everything but a Hindi film. And thank God for it because I at least knew what not to do.
Yeah.
You know, I at least knew where I belonged. And even till date,
Yeah.
that is what is of value. That what I learned there. Or, you know, then monsoon wedding. But that is what finally I figured, okay, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing Ramu will never, he will not remember because, you know, he keeps saying, you know, he used to keep saying things, but we always remember because we were always looking at him. You know, this is the man we have to follow. So one day he was already talking about mafia, and I have to make a film on mafia, and I was quite, you know, I was completely mesmerized by Bandit Queen. And Shekhar Kapoor made the best film, but he's not a better filmmaker than me. I'm going to prove. I'm going to fuck him with this film, and no, how to get me writers. You know those. So he was complimenting Shekhar,
Yeah.
but at the same time competing also. And
I
so
mean, that's
that
what
was
the beauty of inspiration.
yeah.
You use it to fuel yourself. Yeah.
See,
Ramu-
for me, the most emotional, one thing I want to tell before I
Yes.
answer this question,
Yeah.
like Manoj, I can't forget this one visual of Manoj when we had a show for Mr. Bachchan in the famous theatre.
Oh shit.
So he came out and he looked at Manoj and he was standing. He looked at Manoj with his look and he's got the stare. He kept on staring at him for some time and then came forward and hugged him. You know? And okay, so I was just watching. And then after Bachchan left, he was like an emotional wreck. me and him were going back in the car.
Khalid was
in the car, he was. I was like a jerk. And it's okay. I was just telling him some philosophy, you know, some stupid thing, and he was because a guy from Bihar, wherever the fuck he came
No,
from.
and his
No,
film is Zanjeer. That's
yeah,
the film that
correct.
made him want to be
And
an
him
actor.
coming and hugging after seeing his performance, he's like, I don't know what award can compensate that, you know,
Yeah,
in the context. So as a sum of whatever takeaway, you ask me, one thing for me, for sure, it proved, Satya, is in the words of, I don't remember which director said, great films you can't make, they get made. They happen, you know. Because every reason, neither me nor any of us could make another Satya,
Right.
even in 25 years.
Right.
So if I take credit for making Satya, then why did I do it again? I think a lot of good things, either by accident or by design or whatever, they came here. Film is eventually a series of decisions you take over various periods of time.
Right.
And how it comes and joins together, I don't think is technically anybody's control.
Right.
You know, so I think we should be fortunate that Satya made us. We didn't make Satya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Satya made us.
I think, I
And
would
yeah,
like to
true.
believe that.
I mean, definitely three of us who are sitting here, It made us.
Yeah.
It gave us a
I
career.
mean, I couldn't have put it better than Satya made us. We didn't make Satya.
Well, I am so happy it made you and you made it because it is truly, it's truly a film we should treasure. And honestly, this sort of courage
Right.
that all of you had as artists is something that we can all take away from. Going back to what you said, he didn't care in the best way possible.
Right.
I think if all of us can stop caring in that sense,
Right.
we will all be the better for it. But thank you so much. This was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.